Hey guys, this week on Kombativ, we're testing out some of the newest weapons we recently added to the Kombativ.com website. But before we begin, if you just like this video and subscribe to our channel, that would be awesome. All right, so as usual, I had Amanda go back into the warehouse and grab some of the newest items for me to review. She's wrapped them up for me, so I don't know what they are. And I see Amanda's actually got a big box this time. I mean, look at that. Got that big box ready for me to unwrap, so I don't know what that is. So I don't know what any of these weapons are. It'll be so much fun. Are we going to have fun today?
Lots of fun.
We're going to have fun today. All right, Amanda, bring me the very first item. Okay, so I love this because it's like Christmas Day. I get to open a new weapon. I don't know what they are. Let's see what this first one is. And I asked Amanda to put them in larger envelopes this week so that I wouldn't rip the paper, because she gives me these little highlight sheets that are like cheat sheets. So the first weapon we have today is called the Nightmare Tactical Karambit. Ooh, I remember this one. We showed this off on Karate Mart at one point, right?
I think a couple times too.
A couple times, okay, gotcha. Yeah, I definitely remember this. This is cool. So one of the things I really like about this, first off, is it is both a neck knife and you can wear it on your belt as well. So that's kind of cool. And then this is a very sturdy breakaway chain on this. So if we're gonna use this as a neck knife, we just kind of put it around our neck, conceal it underneath our shirt. That's kind of concealed, right? I mean, here, I'm gonna go from a side angle. You can kind of see it there a little bit. Maybe if I flex a little, it'll cover it. But, all right, but if you need it, if you're out in the public and you need it, you can just go underneath your shirt, yank out, and you've got your knife ready for you. And look at that knife. That is a very cool blade. I like that. But I did mention breakaway chain at first. So a lot of people, when they buy neck knives, they like to change up the breakaway chain and put on like some sort of cord or something, like a paracord or something. That's a great idea. I mean, I totally understand why you'd want to do that. But the nice thing about a breakaway chain like this is that if you have it around your neck and someone tries to strangle you with it, like yanks it really hard, it's going to break away before it actually strangles you. So that's actually a really good feature. So if I was going to use this as a neck knife, I would use the breakaway chain on it. But I personally wouldn't use this as a neck knife. That's not really how I would see myself using this knife, because it's got this really cool little belt clip here. So what I would personally do is I would take off this breakaway chain and I would unscrew these guys and I would remove this little belt clip here and move it to the other side. And then I would have it right here on my belt back here. So if I needed it, I would just kind of grab it, yank out, and I got my knife available to me. So that's a really cool way to wear a knife. I like that. I mean, you can put it in the front too, but it looks so much cooler behind your back. I love that. We can also tell that this does have a really nice Kydex sheath, which is form-fitted to the blade. That's a high-quality Kydex sheath. And see how there's this little hole in the knife there? You can see how it's indented there in the Kydex sheath. So when you close that, it snaps into place. So that thing's not going to come out on you at all. There's no way that thing's just going to fall out, especially if you're using it as a neck knife. So I like the security in that aspect. Now, if we take a look at the blade, we can see that this blade is made from an 8CR13 MOV steel. So 8CR13 MOV steel is a fairly hard steel that's known for having good edge retention, also known for being able to be sharpened pretty easily. But one of the other nice things about it is fairly corrosion resistant as well. So that's a pretty good steel for this knife. We can see that it is full tang. It's actually a fairly thick piece of steel that goes all the way through the handle, which is nice. And then we can see that it's got these G10 scales on there. And the G10 scales have these little grip lines on there that make it really comfortable to hold on to. Now, when I'm holding it, I'm noticing that it's actually very comfortable in forward grip, and that is because we've got this jimping on the spine of the blade right here, which gives my thumb something to really dig into there, which is nice. I can also tell that this is an ergonomic design, so it fits my hand very nicely, and it's got this ring on the pommel, which I absolutely love rings on the pommel. I mean, really, they just give you more control of your blade, but then they give you more security if you're in like a combat situation, so you're not going to lose your blade, which is really nice. But they allow to easily transition between grips. So, for instance, right now I'm in forward grip, and it's very comfortable. But if I throw it in a reverse grip, I also have really good control of my blade. I feel like this is a really good knife for reverse grip. One of the things Karambits are known for is also being able to do extended grip, which means that you go out and you can extend and you can kind of slash and then go back into reverse and stab, which is really nice. Now this specific Karambit, I'm not really thinking it's very good in extended grip. My reasoning for that is there's no jimping on the ring on the pommel, and then there's also no like kind of flat area here to show me where my thumb is, which kind of causes a problem. So if I'm going to slash, I can do it, but it's not allowing me enough grip here to hold my finger. So it can actually hurt your finger because of that. So if you're going to buy this knife, I'd personally suggest it in reverse grip or forward grip. Stay away from extended grip. Probably not your best bet. Now the blade itself is approximately 3 inches long. The total length of this knife is approximately 7.5 inches, and it weighs about 3.7 ounces, which is a really nice lightweight for this knife. But I think that's about all I have to say about this, right? Anything else you can think of?
I think that's about it.
I think that's about it. Okay, well, I'm going to go ahead and put this away, and let's move on to our next weapon. All right, Amanda, what you got next for me?
Here you go.
Thank you. Okay, this one's a little heavier. Okay, let's see what this guy is. Oh, nice. Okay, so I love when Amanda brings me a variety of different weapons. They're not all just knives. All right, this one's cool. All right, so our next weapon is the Steel Fist Gloves.
Oh, jeez.
So this is an excellent choice for another reason too. I think it was like a week ago, a customer called us up asking how strong these are, if they actually could be used for striking. So let's really test them out today. Okay, so the nice thing about Steel Fist Gloves is they're also known as SAP Gloves, which means that they're going to be good for incapacitating your attacker. So that's very nice. They're also a very inconspicuous weapon, so nobody's going to know that you have these things like a weapon on you. They just look like a standard pair of gloves, which is really nice. And they're actually really well made. This is genuine goat skin leather. And then we've got the spandex around the wrist area. You can see that we also have Velcro around here so we can secure it to our wrist really nicely. There's some padding on the fingers, which would come in handy just to protect your hand a little bit. These guys are one size fits most. So I've got pretty big hands. See how they fit me? Yeah, they fit me really nicely. In my hand, oh yeah, I love these things. The coolest thing about these though is that the knuckles are filled with a steel shot. So it's like a powdery kind of steel shot. And what that does is that both strengthens your punch, but it also helps to protect your hands. So it actually benefits you in two different ways. They weigh about 7 ounces per glove. So that's a fairly lightweight. It doesn't feel too heavy on my hands, but it also is going to add a little bit of momentum to my swing. So let's just try this out on the Wing Chun dummy just a little bit. So, I mean, I gave that a pretty good jab there, and that didn't hurt my hand. And that actually, I don't know if you could see, but a little bit of sawdust flew off of the Wing Chun dummy. So, all right, I'm just going to leave that there. So, I mean, clearly that didn't hurt, and that's going to provide a lot more impact than if you're just using your fists. And it's keeping them much more protected. So I absolutely love these things. I mean, I understand why people maybe think, okay, it could be cool to have a solid piece of steel, but these feel so comfortable on my fists. You could ride a motorcycle with them. I mean, they're so cool. I absolutely love these gloves. But that's about all I have to say about them. So I'm going to go ahead and put these away after I get them off my hands. And we'll move on to our next weapon. All right, Amanda, what you got next for me?
There you go.
Thank you. And thank you for picking up the Wing Chun dummy, Ian. I appreciate that. Okay. All right. And our next weapon is... Okay, so this is kind of funny too because one thing that Amanda knows really well about me is that I'm a little picky when it comes to weapons. I have a certain taste for weapons that I like, and then I have a certain types of weapons that I don't like. And I made it very clear to her that when she picks out weapons for me, you can pick out whatever you want. You don't have to pick out things that I like, and she knows that I would hate something like this. So thank you for picking this out, Amanda. This is absolutely something that I wouldn't like. But let's not judge a book by the cover. Let's see how good it is before we judge it. It just, to me, right off the top of my head, it looks like a fantasy weapon. It looks like something that you'd hang on your wall, but wouldn't be a legitimate weapon. I mean, it looks kind of cool, though. I mean, first off, you see that it's got these little spikes on the knuckles, and those are supposed to be like the scorpion legs, right? And then you can see the tail of the scorpion here. I kind of wish they would have done a straight tail, though, like made it like a big spike.
I already don't want to get hit with it.
But that would have been like super lethal if it would have been a long straight tail. And then also, this is going to make it a little more durable because it's like that. So.
Yeah.
If it was a straight tail, I think it would make a big hole, but it'd probably break the tail. So I kind of get the design. Now, the holes on this guy are pretty massive. They are a 1-inch diameter hole, so that's going to fit almost everyone's hands. But as I grab this, I realize that it's not going to really matter how big those holes are because you're not going to be wearing it as a fist-loaded weapon. This palm grip is way too big and bulky. So if I stick it in my hand and use it in like a punch style, like a fist-loaded weapon, this palm grip is going to dig right into my palm there, and it could actually damage my hand. So just to prove that to you, I'm going to strike it lightly so I don't hurt my hand too much. Let's hope it doesn't fall over. Okay, so that actually that really hurt just striking it that lightly. It hurt right there, it dug right into my hand. So do not do that. If you buy this thing, don't do that. For a lot of pairs of brass knuckles, for most pairs of brass knuckles, based on the size of the palm grip, you want to use them in a swiping fashion and not in a punching fashion. So you use them like this, where you swipe with them. And this one's definitely no exception to that. It fits much nicer in my hand in a swiping fashion. Yeah, see, I could just strike that. You can see some little marks on this thing coming in, and it didn't hurt my hand. But honestly, if you're taking this out on the streets, people are just going to laugh at you if you have something like this. So hang it on your wall. I wouldn't consider this to be a legitimate weapon. Kind of interesting. It looked good in a movie, though, right? Like a good movie prop.
I can see a lot of people liking it. I can see a lot of people liking it.
Yeah, I can see a lot of mall ninjas and people like that liking it for sure. Absolutely. Let's see. Anything else to say about it? It's approximately 4 inches tall by 6.5 inches wide, and it weighs about 8.8 ounces. So that is really heavy when it comes to a knuckle type weapon. One other thing I need to mention is check your local laws when it comes to any sort of brass knuckle type weapon. They are extremely strict on those type of weapons, so definitely check your local laws. But that's about all I have to say about this, right?
Yeah.
All right.
I like it.
All right. Go ahead and put this away, and let's move on to our next weapon. All right, Amanda, what you got next?
There you go.
Awesome. Okay, and I don't think I have a knife back here, so I'm going to use these knuckles to cut this. Of course, I've got like a million knives back here.
That's what I was about to say too.
Okay, good choice, Amanda. Oh, wow. Okay. I saw this when it came in. Our next weapon is the modern combat Khopesh. Awesome. That is beautiful, right? Okay, so if we take a look at this, we can see that this is clearly a modern day re-envisioning of the classic Egyptian Khopesh, which if you kind of look at the historical weapon, it's a little bit different sized, it looks slightly different, but I do like this modern day version. It's very big, it looks very intimidating, but first off we can see that this does have a really nice genuine leather black blade cover. This is very high quality blade cover, but you guys don't care about that. You want to see the blade itself, so let's go ahead and take that off and check out that blade. That is beautiful. That is really, really beautiful. So when we look at this blade, the reason why, the way that a Khopesh was created was it was kind of made to mimic a battle axe. The curve of a battle axe, the way that a battle axe gets its weight from the head of the weapon. So it kind of mimics a battle axe in that respect. But what makes it such a cool weapon is it's got this little hook here. So if we're out on the battlefield and we're fighting against people with shields and spears and swords and things, what we can do is we could just grasp onto a shield, pull it back with that hook, and then strike. So it makes a really cool weapon in that respect. You can also parry a sword with the back of that blade, so you're not going to dull your blade when doing that. So that's pretty nice. You could also use this to hook a body part. I mean, how cool is that? But if we take a closer look at this, we can see that the handle is made from one solid piece of injection molded nylon. And if you've watched my videos before, you know that I love the nylon material. I love nylon fibers. A lot of these materials are really good for modern day weapons, and they hold up very nicely. Now, the blade itself is made from a 7CR13 stainless steel. So 7CR13 stainless steel is a step up from like a 3CR13 stainless steel. It's got a higher carbon content, which means that it's going to be a harder steel, which means that it's going to have better edge retention. It's going to be a little easier to sharpen, but it's also going to be corrosion resistant. So that's kind of nice. That's a pretty decent steel for a sword like this. And also this is very thick steel. You can see that. It's pretty nice and thick. And then if we look at the tang on this thing, we can see that the tang goes down to about here. So that's going to make this a very strong weapon. That's plenty of tang to hold onto that blade very nicely. We can also see that we've got these grip pyramids on here, which is really nice. That gives me good grip there. We also have grip lines here and here. So I guess the question is, why would we have grip lines here and here when I'm gripping here and here? I guess that would be because if I was to grab a shield or something, I'd kind of flip around and then those grip lines really come in handy in those other areas. So that's actually really nice to have. Now the blade itself is approximately 19.5 inches. The total length of this massive weapon is approximately 44.5 inches, and the weight is approximately 3 pounds. But I think that's really all I have to say about this, right? Anything else, guys?
That's a lot.
That's
a lot.
That's quite a bit. But if you guys could just say in the comments which weapon you like best this week, I have a feeling most of you guys are going to say this. That would really help me out to know what kind of weapons you want to see more of in the future. But make sure you like this video and subscribe to our channel, and check out Kombativ.com because we've got all sorts of awesome weapons on there right now. But until next week, stay combative. But not too combative. You don't want to get yourself in trouble or